Hi folks, it's Eurovision Ireland and we're here with our first review of the songs for the 2021 Eurovision Song Contest. First of all, let's introduce who we've got here. There's Sarah.
Hi.
Phil.
Oh, hello.
And tell us a bit about who you represent, Phil.
I represent the children of the world. No, I don't. I represent On Europe, a fine affiliated website to this one that does lots of stuff that nobody cares about, but lots of people read it. So Eurovision general stuff.
A quality website, of course.
Quality website with podcasts and everything.
And everything, yes. Okay, moving on. We've got James.
Everyone.
Bogdan.
Hi.
Richard.
Hello.
And me, John. Now, tonight we're going to review the Big Six, or the Big Five plus the host, if you want it in another way. We're each going to take a country and talk about it, and then we're going to score each song. And over the course of these 7 broadcasts, we should be able to work out Eurovision Ireland's favourite song of 2021 and who we think might win. So without further ado, we're going to look at the first song here, and that is the song from France. Over to Sarah.
Right, just a little bit of information about Barbara Pravi. She's a French singer, songwriter and actress, and she's certainly no stranger to Eurovision because she wrote the Junior Eurovision winner last year by Valentina, J'imagine, and she also wrote the French entry for Junior Eurovision the year before. So certainly no stranger to it at all. So going on to the song, when I first heard it, it kind of gave me the vibes of Patricia Cass mixed in with Edith Piaf. It's a very, very typical French chanson. I have to say, you can't fault the vocals at all, and it really is sort of something very typically sort of French. It's got good ratings in the polls, which I can quite understand. My only concern about it is it a winner? Maybe, but my concern is it may go the way of Patricia Cass in 2009. Those of us that can remember Moscow 2009, we can remember how highly Patricia Cass was rated, and then she ended up coming 9th in the contest. So I'm a bit sceptical. It could win. I think it's going to be a big hit with the juries. I think it's going to be a big division with the public vote. It's going to be one of those you either love or you hate. That's all. Could score. I think it would definitely come in the top 10, possibly top 5, possibly winner. We'll have to see.
Okay, thanks, Sarah. Now, we're going to go quickly around the room and see if anyone has any other comments to make about Voila. So I'll start with Phil.
Barbara's no Patricia Cass, and she's not going to get a Patricia Cass result. Patricia Cass stopped the press centre. Everybody stood and watched Barbara Pravi sing, not Barbara Pravi, Patricia Cass singing the song. Barbara Pravi's not going to do that. The televoters of Europe aren't going to bother about it. They're just going to go, that's nice, next. There's nothing to hang its hat on. Just because it's French doesn't mean it's any good. The televoters are going to go for something more instant, and there are 20 more instant songs than this. The jurors will go for quality, absolutely, because that's what they're told to do. Televote's going to kill this. They'll be lucky if they're top 10.
Okay, thanks, Phil. James?
I agree with Phil, actually. I think the juries are going to lap this up, but I think for televoters watching around Europe, it's going to not be instant enough. The thing is, it's just so typically French. I mean, it won a French contest, so, you know, obviously the French loved it. I think the sort of broader appeal, it might pick up points in places like Switzerland, Belgium, things, but I think once you sort of get a bit further beyond that, people are going to, as you say, sort of watch and go, oh, okay, and it's maybe not instant enough. But yeah, we can't fault her vocals, and I think the juries are definitely going to enjoy it.
Bogdan?
I'm kind of going to echo what everyone else said. I think if she's lucky, she's going to get the top 10 in top 10, but maybe the bottom top 10 if she's lucky.
Richard?
Yeah, I have to agree. Vocals are great, but I think it will be the jury that gain her the points over the televoters.
Yeah, I think you can tell it's French. It's probably a little bit too French. And unless you're really a fan of that sort of chanson genre, there might be other songs that you'll pick instead of that one to vote for. But what do we know? She has got a cracking voice. So moving on, we're going to do the scoring at the end, by the way. Right. So moving on, we're now going to turn our attention to the winner of Sanremo 2021, the song from Italy, sung by Måneskin. And our reviewer for this one is going to be Phil.
Oh, yes, it is. Now, I'm the kind of person that, if you know me, is as far away from a gnarly rocker as you could possibly be. I'm Schlagertastic, shall we say. This song is brilliant. There's no bones about it. This has a driving beat from the start that's repeated all the way through the song, and the song is hung together by the lyric, which is really, really good. There is a bit of swearing in it for those who are under 18, but it's in Italian, so nobody's going to know. Måneskin will scare the younger kids. They are a proper band singing a proper rock song. Is it going to win? Televoters will pick it up for two reasons. Firstly, because it's a good song. And secondly, it's like nothing they will have seen in the contest for years. Not even Lordy, which was just a Slager song in a dress. Ultimately, that's what Hard Rock Hallelujah is. Will the juries vote for it? Yes, it's real music, popular, record buying. You know, it's going to sell and shift units. This is dangerous. This is one of a handful of songs that have the potential of winning the contest because it's a good song, not because it's a Eurovision song. And for that, we should all be grateful.
Thanks, Phil. Right, well, again, we'll quickly go around the room for any other comments on the Italian song. So, James, what do you think?
It's not very Eurovision, which I think is a good thing. I think every so often we need to inject a bit of the real world into the contest to sort of stop it from becoming sterile. They perform brilliantly together, so I think it will grab certain televoters' attention. I think rock is always underestimated at the contest, but I think there are enough rockers around Europe to see this climb up the scoreboard. Juries, the first thought that I had when I watched it, I was like, well, I think I know who the UK are going to give 12 points to. For me, it sort of has that, you know, London punk feel to it. So, you know, we saw it happen with Georgia in 2016. So just putting it out there now. That's what I'm saying.
Bogdan, what do you think of Italy?
Well, I remember because I live blogged Sanremo's final, and I didn't know the song before, so I didn't listen to it. And it instantly caught my attention, and it was one of my favorites from the start. So yeah, I can see it doing really well at Eurovision. I like it. And yeah, it's not typical Eurovision, but I really like it. I enjoyed it.
Richard?
I think if it can grab people's attention on their first hearing, it's got potential for Italy to maybe do what they've aimed to do since they've come back and win. Look how many times they've just missed out over the last 6-7 years. So who knows? But it's definitely a different genre to what Eurovision is used to.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. I didn't watch Sanremo, but when I heard the song, it grabbed me instant. It was instant there, because it will be. There might only be the hint of one other song in the final that could be like it, if it makes the final. But otherwise, it's got a clear run for hoovering up all the votes for people that like that sort of thing. Maybe the odd drunken Eurovision viewer might like it because it is just so different. Could do well. Sarah, what do you think?
Well, I have to say, I'm not a fan of rock, but having said that, it certainly does stand out. It's definitely not your typical Eurovision song. But then again, as we've all said, you do need something like that to come away from all the Schlager and, you know, the very Eurovision type songs. And I think it's going to gather up a lot of public votes. Not too sure about the juries, but I think definitely the public are going to take to this.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one to watch in Rotterdam. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Now, The UK has had a bit of a torrid time of things lately, but they're hoping to turn things around this year by sending James Newman again. James is going to tell us what he thinks.
Oh, well, where do I start with this? I mean, I'm glad that James Newman is getting a second chance to go back to Eurovision. For a long time, there were all these rumours about contestants from RuPaul's Drag Race going to Eurovision for the UK. So I'm sort of glad we moved away from that because, okay, if you like that show, it's entertaining, everything. But I think for Eurovision, we sort of need to move away from the novelty acts a bit. Yeah, moving on to the song itself. Listen to it, and it did have instant impact. I enjoyed it. And to me, it feels like a song that's being entered into a song contest. It's not a song trying to win Eurovision entering the contest. So I think that's somewhere where the UK have tripped up in the past. We sort of hear all these allegations saying, oh, we've written a song especially for Eurovision, or, you know, it's been specially designed to win Eurovision. You think that's always a really, really risky strategy. This feels very modern. It's very fun. It's got a good beat all the way through it. That brass section needs to be on stage in Rotterdam. I say that now. That sort of really holds the whole thing together. If they're not there, then that's a real trick that the BBC have missed. Speaking of staging, watching the video, as much as the music's good, it has that good beat to it, people are enjoying it, it's quite fun. It's nice that he said, you know, I'm not going to sing a ballad, you know, it's been a difficult year, we're going to move away from a ballad and sing something fun, so I commend him for that. But talking about staging, watching the video, I noticed the camera moves around very quickly to disguise the fact that there's not actually a lot happening. Now, the thing is, if you're on stage in front of, what was it last time, 184 million people, there is going to be nowhere to hide with that. So I think they do need to stage it carefully. We'll have to see what they do with that. But I think it's probably one of the strongest UK entries we've seen for a good few years.
Thanks, James. Bogdan, what do you think of the UK entry?
Well, I think the UK entry is quite a fun one, and that's what I want from Eurovision, to enjoy a song and to have fun with it, maybe dance a bit along. And yeah, it does that for me. I'm not sure how the juries will see the song, but I think it's a contemporary song. It's a fun song, so people will enjoy it. Will that be enough for the people to pick up the vote and the telephone and vote for it? I don't know. So that's why it's really important, the staging. And I want to see those trumpets. I'm gimmicks over there, like, show us something, give us a show, because UK can do that. So please give us a show.
Excellent. Thanks, Bogdan. Richard, what do you think?
I think James Newman will put on the show, and I think it will be our best result in a few years. I wouldn't say as good as Jay Ewan from back in 2009 when we finished 5th, but I'd like to think near enough left-hand side of the scoreboard, and I think he's going to have the support out there, especially from what I've read on social media anyway.
Yeah. I mean, James is more of a songwriter. He's earned his credentials more as a songwriter than a singer, although he has got a decent back catalogue. So he's not just an X Factor Britain's Got Talent wannabe this time. So he's actually someone who knows the trade, and I think this could go in his favour. And he's gone for a song that I've heard several times on BBC Radio 2, and it fits into the playlist they've got on BBC Radio 2. A little bit contemporary, a little bit mainstream, but Radio 2 is a popular radio channel. I think they've done good this year. What do you think, Sarah?
I echo what everyone else has said, really. And at the time, I can actually say that I actually was singing along to it the morning after I'd heard it in the morning. I was doing the housework and I was singing along to it. And it's a long time since I've been able to say that about a UK entry. So that speaks for itself about how good this song is. It's a happy, feel-good song, and I think with what we've had to go through in the last year with the pandemic, I think this is the kind of song that we need as a bit of an uplift for everybody. And I hope they stage this well. I hope that the BBC don't mess it up, because this really does need good staging to really sort of make it work and just get that feel-good factor in. Going with the general audience in Europe. I think we'll probably get the best result that we've had for a few years, definitely.
Thanks, Sarah. And last but certainly not least, Phil, what do you think of James Newman?
Song is really, really good. It's up tempo, it's bouncy, it's got a brass section which makes a change. What at the risk of not getting my accreditation this year for online press, for God's sake, BBC, don't bugger it up. You have a chance of actually putting something on stage that people are going to like, that doesn't have to try too hard to be the UK. It's just a good song. It doesn't need light entertainment's hands all over it. It needs BBC music.
Generally quite upbeat for the UK for once. Let's hope they can carry it on into Rotterdam. Right, song 4 tonight is the one from Spain. And the person who's going to start the review for this song is Bogdan. What do you think?
Right, so Blas Canto is returning this year after last year he was supposed to sing Universo. Now, this year he sings Voy a quedarme, which in translation means I will stay. It's a song that he helped compose, and it's supposed to be a tribute to his grandmother that sadly passed away a few months ago. And it's a journey through the singer's memories that he had with her. And it's a heartfelt song, and I personally enjoy what he's singing, and I can, I don't know, relate to his story. Is that enough for Spain to finally see them again on the left side of the scoreboard? I don't know. They really have to think carefully about the staging and how Blas will connect with the audience back home. I do understand that there's going to be a revamp of the song, so I don't know how that will contribute to the whole idea of this song, but hopefully they can manage to put a lovely show that we can connect to and understand the story behind the song, even though it's in Spanish. So hopefully we will be able to see a beautiful ballad sang from the heart and that people will enjoy listening to.
Thanks, Bogdan. Okay, well, it's time to go around the room again. Richard, what do you think of Spain?
I think if the commentators or whoever's there for the country that's watching, if you know what I mean, explains the story behind the song, now I think the viewers at home may get it, but if they don't understand the concept behind the song, I think it'll just go by the wayside.
Okay, yeah, I think you could be right there, Richard. I mean, I've learned I can't speak Spanish, so I don't know what's behind the song. But I'm afraid I found it a very long 3 minutes when I listened to it today. Spain can do good. Spain can do really good stuff. Cough, Pastora Soler, cough. They can do really good stuff. And they don't need to try, but it's no Pastora Soler. I'm sorry, Blas, but I don't really see this one doing it well. Sorry. Sarah.
Yeah, I think I tend to go along with what everybody has said so far. It's certainly not the worst that Spain sent, but it's not the best either. It's just a nice, pleasant ballad, and like Richard said, unless you can understand the meaning of it, so if you can speak fluent Spanish, or just enough Spanish to understand the story behind it, then that's fine. Or if you've had an explanation from the commentators beforehand, but it's whether the audience will actually feel the mood of that song, and I think that's going to be the problem of Blas getting that across. So I think I'm not too sure about its prospects, really. I think it's going to end up either mid to bottom table, unfortunately. Sorry, Blas.
Okay, honest is good. Phil, tell us what you think of Spain.
TVE have lost their way. They are entering songs that they're not thinking about. They've gone back to Blas, and as we've all said, if it's a song about his grandma passing away, you'll get that explained to you in the very briefest of terms, and then you'll hear the song and go, oh, it's a song about death. That's not what Europe wants, which it is ultimately. You know, it's not what Europe are going to want this year. They're going to want something to take their mind off it, not to say, boo hoo hoo, here we go. And it'll be the same with Austria, whoever does that later on. You feel for Spanish Euro fans because they want so much. They want to do well so badly, painfully badly. And they can't understand why TVE put in the same caliber of song. And I'm not talking brilliant here. I'm talking really, really poor. Blas is going to be struggling. He is going to do very badly, but Spain won't understand why, and they won't learn from their mistakes.
Thanks, Phil. Okay, to finish off our review of Spain, James.
I'm not sure there's much more I can add to that, really. What I will say is that Blas can perform, he has the voice, so vocally he should give a solid performance. I think, as Phil said, people are going to connect to the song sort of very briefly. You know, it will sort of be explained in very quick terms in the sort of 30 seconds before the song, you know, oh, this is a song about this. I'd be curious to see if the revamp includes a verse or a chorus in English. I think that might help people connect to it. I mean, there are enough Spanish speakers around Europe, obviously, but I think something like that where the meaning is maybe not so, as we said, it's no Pastora Soler, it's sort of not so emphatically emotional, even though the subject matter is. I think maybe slipping a bit of English in there might sort of bring a few more votes its way. I'd like to see it do well, but I do fear for its chances. Spain often get lost in everything else going on, which is a real shame.
Okay, thanks, James. Yeah, thanks, Spain. Right, the final one of the big five is Germany. There might be plenty to say on this one. And to lead on Germany is Richard.
Ah!
Thanks, Phil. So Jendrik, he's certainly an eccentric, charismatic, and wacky character, isn't he? So I thought, cast my mind back, who was another character like Jendrik? I thought Gildo Horn, 1998, German entry in Birmingham. So that's, you know, for performance value, that is a good thing. I'm going back to negative now, but I will come back to the positives. So negative, when I first saw it, I thought this is like the Spanish entry from 2017. This should be prime time CBeebies rather than prime time BBC One, because it just seemed a bit childish and, you know, what kids would watch rather than, and anybody watching internationally, CBeebies is like a 3 to 7-year-old TV channel. And then looking on social media, there was one comment that stood out. It's like a song from the Jungle Book, but on speed. Now, obviously, we don't condone drug taking or anything, but it is just that sort of, the middle bit is just like that. But coming back to the positive, if they stage it like we've seen it, like that, that will grab the televoters because it will be a memorable performance. With the juries, it won't get touched at all. But I think because it can be performed memorably, I wouldn't say it do well, but it may do mid-table.
Thanks, Richard. All right, I'll go next on this one. This is this year's Alf Poyer. No one gave him a hope in hell, and he was, yeah, did really well in the end. 5th, I believe.
6th.
6th, thank you. 6th. No one saw that coming. I think there's a lot of unknowns on this one at the moment. The draw is going to be key for this. If it's on towards the end, when a lot of the viewers of Europe will have had their fair share of alcohol, this could do really well. If he's first on, it's going to sink without trace. To be honest, I haven't got a clue how this is going to do at all. Yeah, one way or the other. It'll end up being mid-table, ignominious mid-table, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was 2nd. I wouldn't be surprised if it was 26th. Sarah.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth, John, really, because I was going to mention that here as well. If we all remember back 2003, nobody would have probably given him a prayer, but as we've seen quite often, the eccentrics in Eurovision often score well, as Alf did. And there's no doubt about it, this is an absolutely bonkers song. And I think if the performance is bonkers with it as well, it's certainly got the potential to do well, because it's going to attract people who just want a bit of fun, a bit of lightheartedness, and that kind of ticks the boxes for it. So although it's like you said, John, it could go either way, couldn't it? It could either be that it's sort of right at the bottom, or it's scoring at the top 10. You just don't know. It's just one of those songs you just don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah, exactly. And I should point out to the viewers out there that we come to our conclusions completely independently. We don't know what the other people are going to say here. So there you go. Phil, what do you think of Germany?
That was an introduction. So following that with Phil, what do you think of it? I hate it. I think it's possibly one of the worst songs ever entered in this contest. He makes me want to turn the TV off every time I see it. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's the so-called wackiness, but it's just too much. If you look at the social media that he's done, which of course people will, yes, he is like that all the time. But the question that comes into my head is, are you though? Is this all just a big act to get the score? Or are you a complete imbecile? And I don't know. He's not genuine. The song is complete rubbish. It is light and bouncy and all that other good stuff that Sarah and everybody else has mentioned. It's not good. However, doesn't have to be good to get the televoters of Europe to pick the phone up. Has to be good to get the juries voting for it, and this won't score at all. They'll be lucky if they score double figures for the jury. Televote depends. Depends on whether they go for the cheeky chappy shtick and all this, that, and the other. And in the 34 seconds before the song, somebody explains the reason behind it. I don't know. I would like to burn it in fire, but I don't think I can.
Thanks, Phil. James, follow that.
How on earth do I follow that? Oh, Germany. Germany are a strange one when it comes to Eurovision. They've sent some really fantastic entries of these, and they've also sent some things that are completely off the wall and bonkers, and this definitely fits into that category. I remember the first time I listened to it, sort of press play, was listening to it, I was like, okay, ukulele, those are fun. And I was just laughing hysterically within sort of 30 seconds. I was like, are they serious? Is this, is this what they've chosen? And the thing is, I laughed at it because I don't know if it was nervous laughter or whatever, because it was just so unusual. It just wasn't what I was expecting at all. But then I caught myself singing it later that day. And I think that's where the danger comes in. It does stick in your head because it's very easy to sing along to. It is light and funny. So I think, yeah, juries are going to drive a stake through its heart, but I think the televote could see this sort of coming in the top 10 of the televote because it's fun, it's lighthearted, it's wacky. And the thing we have to remember is we'll have a European audience who missed Eurovision last year. So they'll be goaded to vote for the most wacky, outrageous things they can find. And I think Germany fits that description perfectly.
Definitely wacky. Right, Bogdan.
Well,
What do you think of Germany?
Yeah, so like this, like just wear a Teletubbies suit and play your song, and the audience will go wild, and you have lots of votes. Yeah, so wear a Teletubbies suit, and you'll be fine. Juries will hate it, but everyone else will. Yay! Finally, Teletubbies on Eurovision. So yeah, I'll go for that. Maybe, I don't know. I listened to the song only once, but I can't stop singing it in my head. I can't stand to play it again, but in my head it's always I don't feel hey. So yeah, Teletubbies, my point, and then yeah.
There's a mental image I really didn't need.
Yes, Germany's going to be that song this year that's going to divide. Well, it's already divided opinion, I think, really. Anyway, that's the big five done. Of course, we've got a sixth song that's already qualified for the final, and that's the host song from the Netherlands. I'm going to lead on this one. Now, the host song, big shoes to fill that is. Avrotros are obviously going to do all they can to get this one across as well as they can, because they've waited 40 odd years for a win. I reckon they wouldn't mind if they were to win, back-to-back wins. So they're taken to 6 wins overall, equal with Sweden. Ireland have 7, don't forget. Anyway, Django McCroy, I think he's got a fantastic voice. He is, a great voice. And for those who've paid attention to his song last year, I think this song is so much better than his song from last year. It suits him a lot better. And he has co-written it with a guy called Perquisite. Anyway, now, I just do like it. Whether it'll win or not is another matter. Now, I like the sentiment. When I first heard the title, I was expecting something like this is the age of Aquarius, but no, nice and slow. A builder, you can see it on the dark stage and building gradually. He's going to have a gospel choir with him of 5 people, I guess, just to give this a bit of extra oomph. I like the touch where he switches into Surinamese Creole. I forget the name of the language itself, but it's a Creole that's come from his home country, Suriname. There's hints of Black Lives Matter in it, so it's current. It could well push quite a few of the right buttons. I think the juries are going to like it maybe more than the televoters, but again, it only needs to hit the right note at the right time on that Saturday night, and who knows. If I were to be honest, Avrotros, would they want to win? They wouldn't say no, but I think if they can get a top 5 finish, they'd be happy with this one. But yet, I like it. Sarah, what do you think?
Yeah, I like it as well. I mean, I liked his entry last year, but I think this one actually is an improvement. Yeah, I think it's certainly got the ingredients to do well. I don't think it's a winner, but I think it's got enough there to be able to get votes, an equal amount of votes, both from the jury and from the public vote as well. I love gospel-y type music anyway, sound music anyway. So, yeah, I think this could possibly sort of go have a Sweden type result from 2019. Just go, and I like it.
Thanks, Sarah. Phil, what do you think of the Dutch song?
Well, Sarah's going to put Django's face on the screen, and when he doesn't win, they're going to show his sad face. That's a little bit harsh, Sarah, even for us. What do I think of it? It's okay. It's everything that everybody's already said, really, to be fair. It's current. It's got Black Lives Matter written all the way through it, quite frankly, quite strongly, if we're being honest. It's got hints of Me Too. It's got hints of all sorts of things, to be honest. It's got the gospel choir. It's got the potential to do really well. It also, and don't shoot me down for saying this, has the potential to do really badly because people could be too wary of Black Lives Matter and Me Too. They could be too desensitized, for want of a better phrase, so that when they get a song that's that in your face in a light entertainment context, there is a chance, and I'm not saying this will happen by any means, there is a chance that the voters will go, no, I understand it, but I don't want it. Juries, however, lap it up. It's a well-written song. It's current. It will sell records. It's got all the boxes that the juries tick. I don't know. I'd love to say it's going to do well. I genuinely do not know.
Thanks, Phil. James?
I really enjoyed it the first time I heard it. I thought it was something very different. I think it shows off his vocal talents in a much grander way than his song last year did. I always like the fact a new language being added to the Eurovision phrasebook, that's always something that I'm interested in. Yeah, I think there's a lot of good stuff in there, and I think the juries will pick up on that. And maybe not in the way that it will be getting, lots of 12s, 10s and things, but I can see it sort of getting consistently, 5, 6, 7 from a lot of countries, which will push it up. Televote, I'm kind of siding with Phil in the sense that I think the televoting public will either really respond to it, or they'll maybe be a bit more wary. But I think with the jury support, I think I think the Netherlands will be in the top 10 quite easily.
Thanks, James. Bogdan, what are your views?
I like the song as well, and it's stuck in my head. Okay, I'm not singing the proper lyrics, and you might not sing at home the proper lyrics, but we all know it's a serious song and it's a good song. And yeah, I think, and like all the others said, the juries will give them this song more points than the televoters, but it has a chance to do really well as well.
Thanks, Bogdan. Finally, Richard.
Vocally, you can't fault him, but we're talking about 5 backing singers, 5 gospel backing singers. We've all forgotten they've got the pre-recorded vocals as well this year. So, he could use 10 pre-recorded singers to make a bit more impact. Don't forget. So we've all forgotten about that aspect, but it could easily do top 10, top 5. I don't think the Dutch have got anything to worry about results-wise.
Thanks, Richard. Right, all the 6 songs. Now, what we're going to do, dear viewer, we're going to give each song a score out of 10, right? And because we're going to be doing reviews with only 5 songs in them, we're going to discard the lowest score that someone gives us tonight. So every song will get a score out of 50. I say then by the end of our reviews, we should hopefully have an outright winner for Eurovision Ireland. So we'll start with France. And we'll start with Sarah. How many out of 10?
8.
Phil.
4.
James.
6.
Bogdan.
7.
Richard.
8.
And a 6 from me. So in that regard, we'll discard the 4 points, which is the lowest score. And that gives us a score of 35, I believe. Someone's going to correct me here, but it's 35. Okay, Italy next. Phil.
9.
James.
5.
Bogdan.
9.
Richard.
6.
6. 8 from me. And from Sarah?
5.
5. So we'll discard one of the 5s there. And the score will hopefully appear on the screen down here somewhere. James, which song did you review? UK. Okay. James, your scores for the UK.
The Royaume-Uni, 8 points. 8 points.
Thank you. Bogdan.
8 as well.
8 points. Richard.
9.
9. 8 from me. Sarah.
9.
And Phil.
8.
8. That looks like our leader at the moment. 42. Spain. We'll start with Bogdan.
7.
7. Richard.
5.
5. It's a 2 from me, I'm afraid. Sarah.
4.
Phil.
Oh, thank Christ you gave it 2. 1.
James.
6.
6. So that's the one that goes. That's about 26. I'll make that. Germany. We'll start with Richard.
A very generous 2.
3 from me. Sarah.
I'd like to give it 0 point, but I'll be generous and give it 1.
Phil.
Phil's not going to be generous. 0.
James.
I'm going to give it 2.
And Bogdan.
2.
2.
Germany, I'm sorry, 0 points from the televote.
I'm not sorry.
Finally, the Netherlands. I'll give it 7. Sarah.
8.
8. Phil.
7.
7. James?
8.
8. Bogdan?
7.
And Richard?
7.
That's a fairly consistent score of 37 there. Right, so our scores for tonight, guys. In 6th place on 10 points, we have Germany. In 5th place on 26 points, we have Spain. In 4th place on 35 points, we have France. In 3rd place on 37 points is the Netherlands. In 2nd place on 38 points is Italy. And our leaders so far on 42 are the UK.
Hey.
Surprising.
Surprising, yes. That's out of a score of 50. And of course, over the next programmes, we'll be adding to those scores and seeing where all the other countries will fit in. So there we have it. Out of the big 6, the UK appears to be the favourite among the people of Eurovision Ireland and guests. So there we're going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Tell us what you think in the comments below, or by a brick through my window or something like that. Just tell us what you think. There will be more of these to come, so stay tuned. So we'll each go around and say goodbye. So Sarah.
Bye.
Phil.
Bye now.
James.
Bye, everyone.
Bogdan.
Bye. See you soon.
Richard.
Bye.
And goodbye from me. So from Eurovision Ireland, bye.